Media Academy Radio. Okay, Lobeye.
All the hits, one station.
Yes, Media Academy Radio.
The #1 hit music station.
Good afternoon and thanks for joining us on Global News from Yesma Radio, the first media academy radio. In the headlines, federal government proposes to spend 11.8 trillion naira in 2021. Fresh controversy over seized assets sales orders. Osun retirees commend Oyetola over prompt payment of pension. On the foreign scene, President Donald Trump wears face masks in public for the first time. And in sports, Moses Simon recounts 2020 in sports. Now the news in detail. My name is Olatunde Idowu. After activating the 2020 budget implementation, the federal government has proposed to spend 11.86 trillion naira in 2021. Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, made this revelation while presenting the Medium-Term Expenditure Framework 2021-2023 in Abuja. Zainab Ahmed also stated that the country's fiscal fortunes will suffer a deficit of 5.16 trillion naira because of the government's projected ability to generate only 6.98 trillion naira revenue, all in 2021. Increasingly, while the naira has been devalued to 380 naira to the dollar, the Minister of Finance has pegged exchange rate in the 2021 fiscal year at 360 naira to a dollar. The 2021 to 2023 MTEF FSP is the pre-budget statement that provides a framework for the development of the 2021 budget. An audit panel has raised questions on the whereabouts of the interest accruing from 550 billion naira recovered by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) from Treasury looters. The panel has also queried what it perceives as discrepancies in the EFCC records of recovered funds. The questions are contained in the final report of the Presidential Committee on Audit of Recovered Assets covering May 29, 2015 to November 22, 2018. The panel is different from the Ayo Salami Presidential Investigation Committee, which is currently probing allegations against the suspended acting chairman of EFCC, Malam Ibrahim Magu, by the Attorney General of the Federation and Justice Minister, Abubakar Malami SAN. Sources said that none of the assets seized by the EFCC had been sold except the 244 trucks which a federal high court ordered to be disposed of by the Deputy Chief Registrar of the FHC in conjunction with the Department of Petroleum Resources and the Commission. The proceeds of the sale were remitted into the federal government recovery account was guarded. In the meantime, PRACA stated in its report that it was quite disturbing that conflicting figures are being circulated in the public space by EFCC as the amount of recovered funds. Citing foreign currency recoveries as an example, the audit panel said EFCC reported a total naira equivalent of 46,038,882,509 naira 86 kaba, while the naira equivalent of the foreign currency lodgement were 37,533,768,195 naira 66 kaba, representing a shortfall of 8,505,118,314 naira 21 kaba. Meanwhile, the Attorney General of the Federation, AGF, and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami SAN, has denied buying a 300 million naira house for his newly wedded son, Abdulaziz, in Abuja. Malami, in a statement issued by his media aide, Umar Gwandu, also dismissed as untrue claims in a social media report that COVID-19 guidelines were flouted during Abdulaziz's wedding to Fathia, which took place in Kano yesterday. He dubbed the report mischievous, deceitful, perfidious, and a clear violation of ethical journalism practices on verification of facts and authentication of claims. He challenged his accusers to name the vendor of the purported house and its location to be published, the titled document. The Nigerian Union of Pensioners in Osun State, under the aegis of Triangular Group, has commended Governor Adegboyega Oyetola over prompt payment of pension. Also, the group described the recent protest by some members over payment of pension as needless and unwarranted. A group of pensioners, Osun State Contributory Pension Retirees, had protested to the Palace of Oni of Ife over unpaid pension and modulated salary arrears owed them while in service, seeking the intervention of Oni Adeyeye Ogunwusi. But the Triangular Group condemned the protest, saying their colleagues should have a dialogue with the government instead of embarking on unwarranted demonstrations. The chairman of the group, Prince Rotimi Adeluba, addressing newsmen at the Secretariat of Nigerian Union of Journalists, Oshogbo, said Governor Boyega Oyetola has been up and doing in the payment of entitlements of pensioners in the state. The group advised senior citizens in the state from 50 years and above to take care of their health, noting that COVID-19 is real. Hundreds of members of the All Progressive Congress APC in Ondo State protested against the adoption of the indirect mode of primary for the election of the party's governorship candidate. The APC is scheduled to hold its primary on the 20th of July, and 11 aspirants have been cleared to contest at the primary. Several placards with inscriptions such as "We want direct primary for the sake of equity and good of all. We don't want Zamfara State experience. Give us direct primary in Ondo State." The protesters chanted solidarity songs denouncing indirect primaries. Speaking to journalists, Barrister Shegun Ogodo said the protest was to put the National Caretaker Committee of the party on notice that APC members in Ondo State reject indirect primary. 3 months after the news of her ordeal in Lebanon reached Nigerians, sending shockwaves across the country, 31-year-old Temitope Arowolo was back home yesterday and was relieved to be alive to tell the story all over. Temitope and 21 other Nigerians stranded in Lebanon were evacuated to Abuja by the federal government. She was initially stopped from leaving for Nigeria and subsequently charged for stealing an attempted murder of her employer after the story of her maltreatment was broken by Al Jazeera television. She was beaten by Mahmoud Zaharan, the husband of her employer Fezay Diab, on April 25 in their residence south of Beirut. Savoring her fresh freedom, Temitope said, and I quote, "I am happy being home. Going to Lebanon was like going to hell. Nobody knows that will happen there. I advise other Nigerian girls to stay here in Nigeria and try to make it, because going outside there was like hell for me, not only in Lebanon." On the foreign scene, U.S. President Donald Trump surprised the world by wearing a face mask in public for the first time since the outbreak of the novel coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic. Trump had previously refused to wear a mask in public although he had said he would if in a crowd and could not maintain physical distance from others. He had come under sharp criticism even from his fellow Republican Party members, who said his stance showed lack of example or leadership. He finally did that during a visit to the Walter Reed National Military Medical Center outside Washington, where he met wounded soldiers and frontline health workers. And going straight to the world of sport, Nigeria and FC Nantes player is in celebration mode and shares his atmosphere of happiness. Fresh from celebrating the birth of their second daughter and hitting it off in grand style as player of the season in his first season with FC Nantes, Nigerian playmaker Moses Simon has described 2020 as a great year. He said, and I quote, "This is in spite of the novel virus, COVID-19, that is ravaging the world." Simon said, "My family is celebrating because God has been kind to my family. 2020 has been a great year for us." The Super Eagles sensation, who missed the Russia World Cup by whiskers, said he has experienced great happiness in his family and career in his maiden season with Nantes in the French League on. And that'll be all on global news, but before I go, let me bring you a recap of the stories we brought to you earlier. In the news, we told you that federal government proposes to spend 11.8 trillion naira in 2021. And fresh controversy over seized assets, sales, and others. Osun retirees commend Governor Oyetola over prompt payment of pension. On the foreign scene, we brought you the news that President Donald Trump wears mask in public. And in sport, Moses Simon recounts 2020 in sports. The news was produced and edited by Banke Bello Arilewo and delivered by Olatunde Idowu. Thanks for joining us. The Yoruba version of Global News comes up immediately after this. Do have a wonderful Sunday.